Okay, so we have a very special guest yet again, but a different type of guest, I'd probably say today. It's Stuart Walker, founder of World of Triathlon Live. Stuart, how are you doing?
Very well, Mike. Thank you so much. Excited to be here. Yeah, loving it.
Good, good man. Although I might call it World of Multisport Live. Uh, but
That is the more accurate description of it for sure. Yeah,
uh,
where we landed with World of Triathlon Live. I think it's just a word, a name that more people understand. Um, so for those that are kind of maybe thinking about doing a triathlon or multi-sport, they would know triathlon more. But yeah,
yeah,
it is
yeah,
definitely representative of multi-sport, 100%.
yeah. It's the word multisport isn't. It's kind of not in the vocab really, is it? Certainly in the UK, it's only people like us that kind of know what it is, but people
Yeah,
know what triathlon is, so because of the Olympics and those kind of things, I guess. So,
exactly.
what what is the World of Triathlon Live, Stuart?
So really, the it's the UK's only exhibition dedicated to multi-sport. That's it in its nuttiest of nutshells, Mike. Um, but ultimately it does two things. One, it celebrates the existing triathlon community. So that may be people that regularly race throughout the year of any multi-sport discipline, duathlon, aquabike, swim, run, the whole gambit. They may also be members of tri clubs, maybe represent their country at age group level. So really kind of that first part is, yeah, the existing community. But then the second is people that are just, we refer to them as tri curious. So those that are interested in getting into the sport and having an exhibition, can help maybe inspire or answer questions or gear them up for it. So yeah, purely
Okay,
for the multi sport world in the
okay,
UK.
and it's end of March, right? Last weekend of March.
28th, 29th of March. Yeah.
Okay.
Coincidentally, my birthday is the day before. So, really special time for me. But, yeah, it was more fluke, than judgment. But, yeah, 28th,
Well,
29th of March.
okay, well, that's good timing for the pre-season, I guess, and that's down in London, right?
Yep. London XL, over a weekend. And yeah, rightly so, deliberately for pre season, for people that are looking to gear up for the season ahead, maybe book some races, or learn from experts. Yeah, so very much the right time of year.
Yeah, definitely. And so, what can we expect to see there? I've had a look, obviously, at the website and got a bit of background on it, but what kind of things will we see?
I think well, to be honest, we're putting on a show that I think appeals to kind of anybody that's interested in the sport, or even really just sport in general. To be honest with you, we're
Hmm.
going to have some Team GB athletes being interviewed on stage. Firstly,
Cool.
um, we've already announced Dave Ellis, MBE, who's I think the most dominant para triathlete in the world at the moment. He's got gold at Europe, European, Commonwealth, World, and Olympic, all in a 2 year period.
Hmm.
Um, we're going to have education there, so we've got some great coaches and experts on stage, kind of going through anything from like triathlon 101 for those people that are brand new to it, want to know how to get started, through to how to shave 2 minutes off your bike, and everything in between. And again, all these are all experts and coaches. We've got a doctor, a nutritionist who's going to be talking about fueling for race day. We have people covering the swim, the run element. So there's a whole lot of education going on. We then have the brands exhibiting, so um, covering again anything from what you'll need for training, whether that's you know, your static trainer indoor, because a lot of it's indoor in the UK in that pre-season
Yeah.
capacity. So yeah, so for the training stuff, for nutrition, for race day as well, you'll have the gear, the tri suits, the wetsuits, bikes, footwear. What else have I missed? Oh, race organisers.
Yeah.
So people will be able to come and book races. So yeah, for the brands that are there, the idea is that the visitors can ask questions, get hands on with the product, find out about the service, find out about the race, sample the nutrition,
Hmm.
and then potentially buy what they need whilst they're there.
Yeah.
And then we have a unique, I suppose, bit of entertainment more than anything. It's to be revealed, but the details exactly are gonna come out over the next few weeks. But we're just referring to it as a static triathlon. But it was going to be like a real kind of buzz, bit of PR, loads of fun. People can give it a try, basically.
Cool. Sounds good.
Yeah. There's so much, and it's going to be great for networking. There's going to be an area dedicated to triathlon clubs. We're going to have loads of charities there that are doing their bit for sport and diversity and grassroots level. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting couple of days.
Yeah. Yeah. And so tell us a bit about your story then. What's led you to put on this massive exhibition for
Yeah, I
triathlon?
didn't just wake up one day, right? Well, my background is exhibitions.
Right.
Love, I love what exhibitions does. Like in terms of from a salesperson point of view, firstly, it's the one thing that I've ever sold that I can experience with my client. Right. So imagine if you used car salesman, you can't then go be driven around by the person that's just bought that car from you, right? Or if you're an estate agent, you're not going to move in with them. But from a from a salesperson point of view, yeah, you're selling this concept to brands that want to get involved in it, and then you experience it together over that
Hmm.
2 days. I used to run a show that was 9 days, so you kind of really experiencing it.
Hmm.
So I love that part of it, but I really also just love what exhibitions can do. They're great for um, brands to get new customers. They're great for consumers to get to understand brands. They're amazing for policy and recruitment and serving an industry. And I think every show I've ever been privileged to work on has been at the center of an industry and has been a platform that can have that ripple effect into that industry. Because we're experts in putting on an exhibition, not experts in health and safety of triathlons or races, or um, how to make races more inclusive or diverse. That's not our expertise. We're a platform that are able to bring all these experts together and have that positive impact. Because our goal long term is to get more people into triathlon. The UK is the third largest triathlon community in the world,
Okay.
but numbers are down since like kind of pre-pandemic numbers.
Right.
So we want to be part of that, stimulus to help get more people into it. So exhibitions is my thing. I love going to them in my spare time as well. I've traveled the world going to different shows and for different industries. And I always knew at some point I would run my own show. Um, yeah, always wanted to just by, I suppose, not wanting kind of a sob story for it, I suppose, Mike. But I was made redundant from a role 18 months ago or so now, and I was head of sales for a big trade show, loving life, career was going great, but restructuring, got made redundant. So I took a contract role for a company I used to work for. And I was like, this will do for now, I'll kind of figure out over a bit of time what I want to do. And then just over a year ago, so it was October last year, keep it on my desk for prosperity. I was reading 220 Triathlon magazine, and it was an interview of Ruth Daniels, who at that point was fairly new in her role as CEO for British Triathlon.
Mm-hmm.
And she talks about wanting to make the sport more inclusive and improving access to it, to a more diverse audience. I was like, well, that's what an exhibition could do. That could help. We could be the platform for that. And I'd noticed the sport wasn't particularly inclusive or diverse. I personally found it really difficult buying gear. I had completely the wrong wetsuit when I did my first triathlon. I was wearing a surf wetsuit, and it was August. But I'd been wearing it because I started my training in the previous October, like the open water swimming side.
Mm-hmm.
So it was great for swimming in the estuary in October, not in August. So yeah, I'd completely the wrong gear. I found it really difficult to find the right product and try it on, ask questions. Every time you search for it, products always dominated by the same few brands. And it was just a bit of an online minefield, to be honest with you, of trying to buy gear. And so once I read Ruth's interview, I was like, okay, yeah, here's a thing. This is an opportunity. There's not a show for the sport at the time, which I thought was surprising. There had been prior to the pandemic, and a couple of them have done very well and really popular. But yeah, there wasn't a show. I was in a situation personally where I was able to do that, and in a sport that I'd fell in love with a couple of years before, and I was like, well, this is a sign if ever I've seen one, So yeah, I set about my business plan, got the company incorporated, and announced it in April this year, ready for March next year.
Brilliant. So take us back to that first triathlon. What triathlon was that then?
So I laugh because there's just so much about it that was bad, but I just loved it anyway. Southend-on-Sea triathlon. My local one. I'm in Leigh-on-Sea in the Essex Riviera, and it's literally a couple of miles up the road. And the reason why part of it was so bad is because of my lack of ability. Because I actually, my motivation for doing it in the first place was I hit 41 years old and I still couldn't swim. I had a pretty traumatic experience when I was really small, and just never really learned how to swim properly. I couldn't even couldn't just keep myself afloat in deep water. I just like a pin just drop.
Right.
But I thought I need more motivation than just getting some lessons. So I thought, well, you know what I'll do? I will sign up to a triathlon. I didn't even own a bike.
Right.
So I gave myself a year, got a coach. There's a guy around the corner for me, open water swimming coach. And on our first meeting, he was like, so what's your goal? I was like, to survive. That was it. I didn't, because he's used to training triathletes that try to get PBs or do a full Ironman or all this sort of stuff. And I'm like, no. I just want to survive it.
Get to T1.
Yeah. Which at the time I didn't even know what that meant. and then yeah, come race day, I just remember it was. I think I had to get up at like. I think I had to be there at like 5:30 in the morning because it's tidal.
Hmm.
It's on the estuary on the Thames. Um, I think start time was like 6:30, and but it was an up and back on the swim, so it was a loop. But like the out leg was against the tide, and I did a sprint. So the half of it was, I don't know, 325 meters, 375 meters. Um, it took me 45 minutes to go out,
Okay.
10 minutes to come back,
Nice.
and it was
Negative
brutal.
split.
Yeah, brutal. Yeah, that wasn't my ability. That was I just rode the wave back, um, and just horrific. I came stone last in the swim. I had like the it's horrific chafing on my neck, which I didn't know about until I got in a shower a few hours later. Um, and but like the coming out of the swim was just such a relief. Like,
Mhm.
I survived. Like, that was it. And I got on the bike, and the bike's brilliant. Like, but the South Essex like country roads are kind of where it was. Are so underrated, and it's beautiful. And it's an area we kind of like drive around and go to like little country pubs and stuff. So to be riding a bike there, and bearing in mind as well, I'd only owned the bike for a few months, and I think at that point the furthest I'd ridden was like 10 kilometers. I'd been out on it for like an hour, um, and I had just bought a hybrid like bike. One I had a brand that I knew of from from a yeah I'd seen on TV. I was like, yeah, that'd be cool. I'd buy one of those. They look nice,
Hmm.
but really cheap. Um, and I remember my favorite thing of the bike was I rode past this lady who was in the race, and she had a basket on the front of her bike, and I was like, yes, more people need to do that. Um, and then the run was great. It's like a run I've done loads, just up and down on the seafront, on the promenade. But I loved, apart from the actual swimming specifically, I loved every other second of it, and the camaraderie, the conversations in the transition area, the intimacy of like the start finish line with the transition area, and all the spectators that were there. Um, I thought that was amazing. I thought, yeah, from an event professional point of view, I just loved how it was set out, the organisation of it, the execution of it. I thought it was brilliant. And like every race I've done since, I still think that. Like I don't know if there are bad races, but like I haven't seen one where it's not been brilliantly executed, and like just a great layout and structure. So there's a lot of planning that has to go into them, right?
Yeah.
So um, yeah, it was just great buzz. And I remember getting that finisher's medal, crossing the line, and they're saying, announcing your name as you're crossing the line. I'd never had that before. I'd done like a few 10Ks and stuff like that, but this is the first time I'd experienced that, and I was like, "This is amazing." I'm a
Yeah.
triathlete, um, and yeah, just loved it from that very first race. My swimming hasn't got any better though. That's the only thing. Well, no, I think I actually no, it has. I can definitely swim further, not necessarily faster, but further. Um,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. That was my first like, experience into it, and yeah, I'll never forget it. I'll do the South End one again, and I want to do the Olympic next time. They've changed the swim now; it's just with the tide. Um, so the start areas like a kilometre up the beach. Um, so yeah. But I
Okay.
do it again, 100%. I totally recommend it. Anybody that wants to do open water tidal in the UK, it's good times.
It sounds good. Yeah, I love that story because although I'm I'm a swim runner, obviously, but I've done a couple of triathlons, and I'm into that. I've got a lot of friends in the sport, and a lot of them, a similar story. Either they couldn't swim or they weren't very good at swimming, and a triathlon was the motivation to make them improve their swimming. And I think that's been great in the UK, well, probably across the world, to motivate people, particularly men for some reason, to start. They need that goal. Oh, I need to do a triathlon. Okay, I need to learn to swim. It's like it is
Yeah.
good that.
Well, I think it's because since launching the show in April, I've been to loads of different races and interviewed just on camera, just to kind of get some connection with the community and find out people's experiences. And I think I would go as far as saying 90% of people I spoke to couldn't swim properly before doing before signing up to their first race, for sure. Um, and a lot of them didn't own bikes as well. Like, it's a super common. Like, runners are without doubt the gateway into the sport, and that seems to be, just from my experience, but also just stats you kind of see on,
Yeah,
and reports and stuff. But
yeah,
not being able to
so
swim,
yeah,
yeah, it's so common.
it's just more complicated to swim, isn't it? Really, I mean, running you can
Yeah,
just obviously run out your door with trainers, and
exactly.
swimming
There's
there's
a
all the
lot more to
faff
it.
and the bike. Yeah, so I'm quite jealous of Australia with they've got some great open air pools. I mean, we've got some good Lidos
We've
too,
got
but
some
not
good
enough.
Lidos. Yeah,
Oh,
my,
yeah,
my wife's
yeah,
done one in a Lido. She loved it.
yeah.
I don't know if there's any near me anyway, but yeah, and I think, annoyingly though, I don't know whether necessarily a lot of them have reopened. I know a lot of them did close during the
Yeah,
pandemic, right? A lot of the Lidos, and then straight after that with the energy crisis, so many of them didn't reopen, which is such a shame.
yeah, definitely, definitely. And some of the in Wales, quite a few of the pools have closed as well.
Really?
Anyway, well,
Yeah.
we
Sorry.
still got the sea. We still got the sea.
Yeah, yeah.
But
We're an island,
just
right? We're surrounded by it. Let's go out
exactly,
and
yeah,
swim.
yeah. So just coming back to British Triathlon there, and the number. Well, first of all, the numbers. So third in terms of triathlon, you said the UK is the third most. Is it most numbers
Third
per
most amount
capita?
of like triathletes in a country. Yeah, yeah. So in the US, it's 300,000 people. Um, Germany a second, and we a third. And even last year, when numbers were down, there was 114,000 people in the UK did a triathlon.
Okay, but I mean per capita, that might be like 300,000 in the US.
Oh yeah, that's like
You know what have they
0.5% of
got?
the population or something.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
so
it's like 300
pretty.
million people in the US, right? I think something like
Yeah, there's quite a few. Yeah, it's
that.
loads
Yeah,
of them. But I suppose Germany would be probably a closer match. I'm not sure what their population is, but it's probably
a bit more
bit
than us.
bigger than ours. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's a big country, isn't it? So yeah, okay. Well, that's top three in numbers.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. And,
that's
but I think even with that though, we still dominate in not just triathlon, but in a lot of multi-sport. So um, one of our hosts at the show, who's doing all of the interviews on our main stage, interviewing all
mhm.
the athletes, is Annie Emerson, and she
Oh yeah.
retired as a duathlon world champion, um, and has since now goes on and does commentates for the BBC, for British Triathlon races, and for Super Tri. So yeah, so
Cool.
duathlon dominate. We dominated a lot of the multi-sport, to be honest with you,
Yeah,
at
yeah,
national level.
yeah. 84 million population of Germany. So
Is
we're not
it? You
too
had
far.
you had
Yeah.
to find out, didn't you? You had to find
Oh,
out.
of
Yeah.
course, mate. Need the numbers, need the data. Uh, so, okay. So, and British Triathlon, I think you just announced they're coming on board as a
Oh, you
sponsor
saw
for the
that?
show.
Yep.
I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
We've been in talks with them for a while, and wanting them to that they're our lead federation partner. So it's kind of we got Tridot as our headline sponsor, and then British Triathlon as our lead partner. Um, and it's such an honour, to be working with the country's sporting federation, and for it's one of those things for me in particular this year that are kind of like mind blowing conversations. Like you kind of tell friends and family, oh, I've just spoken to this person or this person. They're like, oh my god, really? Like, yeah, and they're like, mate, they couldn't. It's so getting working with that kind of level organization
Yeah.
is amazing.
Yeah.
We just announced it, and they're going to do some great things themselves at the show. They're going to bring some experts and some athletes and do some great activations. They're going to promote the show. We're going to promote them and their memberships. Because I'm a member, have been since I got into triathlon. So I think more people should be. So we're going to help, going to tell that story of why they should be members. And yeah, they're going to promote the show for us as well. So
Cool.
very
Cool.
exciting. Great to be working with them.
Yeah, that's great. It would be a shame, yeah, if they weren't involved. That would be a shame. So that's brilliant that they're coming on board for sure. And Tridot, so they're like an AI training coaching platform. Is that right?
Yeah, they've got a very cool platform. Like it's like if you're dedicated and wanting to get better in the sport, that theirs is. I think from the one lines I kind of like played about with and used. I think they're top notch, very clever, very unique, and to have them headline sponsor the show, that was the first thing that happened to me this year. That I was like, wow, headline
Yeah.
sponsor of a brand like that. Um, yeah, huge honor and such a privilege for that to happen. And they're going to be doing some great things. They're really on the front foot, wanting to educate as well. They've got some great coaches. They coach some incredible athletes, and they're just a
Cool.
phenomenal brand, and
Mm.
yeah, really one that's like innovative and wanting to
Yeah.
take the sport and athletes to the next level. And it's good for people that are kind of brand new into it, never done the sport before, or elite level, so
Hmm.
it's perfect for the whole audience, really.
Yeah.
And by
Cool.
the way, you can get a free trial for 3 months. There's a link on our website, but they're also they're doing an initiative at the moment through Mark Allen, who's a US
Yeah.
triathlete, an absolute legend of the sport.
Yeah.
Doing an initiative with him where they're funding 500 women for a year's membership, and they're pushing that out across all their channels at the moment. So you'll see something come out from us about that soon as well. So,
Wow.
but
That's
yeah,
cool.
great platform. Give it a try.
Yeah. Brilliant. I will. I'm sure. Yeah, I need a
Oh,
bit of.
you won't need it though, mate. Sure,
No, I do, mate. I do. So could you give us a sneak preview? I've had a little sneak at a few documents I've seen, a sneak preview of some of the brands that might be there. Or is it too early to reveal?
we're about to announce the whole thing.
Okay.
I'd say that there's some that we've already announced on our social media, so those ones we can happily talk about. Some Morton,
Oh yeah.
or they're like the like one of the top, if not. I'm not an expert in nutrition, so but in terms of nutrition brands connected to the sport,
Hmm.
they amazing. Like doing some
Yeah.
great things. Work with some amazing athletes like Alex Yee, Lucy Charles Barkley. Um,
Yeah. Kristin Larson. She's a swim
oh
runner, by the
yeah, okay, right,
way.
okay. I've seen her name. Yeah, um, and yeah, so they're exhibiting with us. We've also announced Ruvi. So
Mm.
Ruvi are a bike training platform, and I just love them. For me, what I like about again, there's lots of things I like about running exhibitions. One of them is kind of like getting to know the companies and the people behind them. And everybody I've spoken to at Ruvi is just lovely, like such nice people. And they're going to do some great things with us at the show as well. Um, and then we're already working with a couple of race organisers. We've got X Tri,
Yeah.
who do extreme triathlons. They run a couple of like very famous, legendary ones. One called the Kelpman and
Keltman. Yeah.
Norseman,
Yeah.
and they are up there. Like they're just yeah, their names that people once you're in the sport, you'll hear of those races. And Challenge Family and Challenge Run. I don't even know how many races it is now across the world, but they've got a great tour, and one of their most famous ones is Challenge Roth in
Yeah.
Germany, and it gets voted. I think it. I think in Germany it's been voted like the best triathlon for something like 10 years running. You know, really good to be working with them. Um, and then UK ones we're working with Triborn, do Brighton and Eastbourne.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, great, some great race organisers already on board. Um, yeah, I think those ones we've all announced so far, so we can talk about them.
Okay.
But there's going to be a huge amount more over the
Yeah.
next few weeks for sure. And the
Cool.
exhibitor list will be going live this side of Christmas. So.
Oh, that's good. That'll get quite a bit of excitement, I think, because yeah, some big brands, no doubt. And it's,
Yes.
I mean, I remember the reason when I think I saw it on probably social media that yourself, the fact it was launching. And I remember the founders of Urteleur, Michael Lemmel and Matt Scotts, went over to the old triathlon show, whatever it was, back in pre-pandemic, 2017. And I think it had a big impact. In those days, swimrun was really growing. Still small, but it was definitely growing every year. And I remember it having an impact for sure. So it's great that you're putting this on, and yeah, I think it's needed really. I mean, I'm obviously thinking about swim run, but for triathletes, as you say, there's so many questions for people who've not done the sport, and especially if you haven't got friends who are in it already, because that's where often you learn from your mates who've done it. But if you're kind of just going out on your own, and it's hard to.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest things for me when I got into it is the amount of people. When I say to people, "Oh, I'm going to do a triathlon next year," or I'm training for triathlon. Everyone was like, "You're doing an Ironman?" I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I can't even swim. Of course, I'm not doing an Ironman. And I think that's and it's nothing wrong with Ironman. It just means that they've got some great branding, great publicity, and great
Hmm.
reputation. But I think if so many people think of it as that, and then that's their deterrent for not doing it, but then they don't know that there's super sprint
Yeah.
or duathlon or aquathon,
Hmm.
swim run. They
Hmm.
don't know that there's these other incarnations of it because multi-sport isn't isn't a thing that kind of gets talked about
Yeah.
in that capacity. So it's anything swim, bike, run related, and I think that's the big message that British Triathlon are really working on and have been for a while now. But it's just talking about swim, bike, run, and the variations of that. Um, and it's I think that's the one of the biggest kind of messaging pieces that we want to be able to not just to communicate prior to the show, but even at the event as well, and get people to come along. Go, if you're interested in any three of those, any one of those three, come along, and then you might want to do something else and tag something else onto it, and especially for the runners that want to do something, or for cyclists that yeah, maybe don't want to swim, but okay, well you can get into add on a run as well to
Mm.
duathlon, and I've done some phenomenal duathlons.
Hmm.
Um, like there's one at Ashridge, I think it's called Ashridge House. It's like this old country manor. I think it had some connection to the royal family at some point, and it's just in this beautiful big estate, and you kind of like you do this run around these incredible gardens, and then this bike ride is in this most beautiful part of the countryside, and I'm like, yeah, this is lovely, you know.
Yeah.
It was February as well, and
Yeah.
it was still lovely, you know. And, so I think there's just that kind of message around what multi-sport is,
Yeah.
and yeah, the different variations of swim, bike, run.
Yeah. For sure. Now, do you have any race goals yourself this year? Well, next year.
Um, I tell you the one thing I didn't do, I wanted to do for this year was I wanted to get up to do an Olympic, um, but and I was scheduled to do it at T100, but we ended up exhibiting there within the race village to promote the show. Um, and although I had a team of people with me, I didn't want to be away from our stand for potentially a few hours. Um, so
Yeah, a few hours, mate. A few hours.
yeah, it would have been, yeah, for me, 100%. I'd probably still be swimming, to be honest. The so I did a super sprint instead. So I do want to get up to
Yeah.
doing an Olympic next year. I just need to decide where we do it because actually going to be exhibiting at a lot of other races.
Okay.
So we want to kind of take we had a really nice kind of branded gazebo just exactly like this on a gazebo, and we're going to take that to loads of the big races so we can kind of get even more face time with triathletes throughout the year.
Cool.
So I don't know which race I'm going to do yet, but an Olympic is definitely on the cards.
Brilliant. Brilliant. And T100, the sprint went well, and the day
Oh,
went well.
mate, loved
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. I tell you, one of my favorite experiences of it this year was in the race wave that I was in. There was this one particular group, and they were part of a group called Badu, which is an initiative run by a guy called Nana Badu, and it's all about part of their mission is getting people from um, I don't know, slightly from areas of the country and London in particular that aren't synonymous with doing sport or don't have access to sport, um, from more diverse backgrounds to those that are doing triathlon. And I think they turned up with something like 30 athletes all in the same wave. And the atmosphere they created was electrifying. And I've got a video. My wife videoed me kind of walking through, and I was like feeding off of that. I was like, "Wow, this is amazing!" Um, and then just got into the race and loved it. But that was a particular highlight this year. That was actually the only race I did. I've since been a bit injured anyway, um, but yeah, that was a good race. And I think it's one of those probably one of the best ones I've done for beginner level. And
Hmm.
although I have raced a lot. I've done like 7, I think, looking at my medals. Yeah, 7 races. I still count myself as a beginner because my swim level's really low. Um,
Have you got have you got a coach for swimming? Or
I only this open water coach
right
I've
in the
used
summer?
we only a
Right.
few times, and he's great, but I just don't do it consistently enough. Um, probably the biggest thing this year from launching the business is I just haven't had the time. I've been really just focused so much more on the business rather than
Yeah.
racing and training. Um, so even like with the super sprint, because I was booked in to do the Olympic, I had this whole training program planned out. I think I did 2 weeks, and then everything just kind of got on top of me. I was like, right, I I can't do this and train at the same time. So
Mm.
the business and the show was more important
Yeah,
than doing a PB this year. So,
yeah.
but I will. The swim part's the bit I need to spend more time on for sure.
Have you got a club, local club, or that swim
There, there's a
regularly?
there's a couple of clubs, triathlon clubs. For me, they train in days and locations that don't quite suit my schedule.
Yeah.
But my local gym I go to, they do a master's class a couple of times a week, and I've done that. I am by far the slowest person there each time, but the coach there is brilliant. She's great, so helpful. But she also coaches like 2 year olds. So like, I'm the perfect adult for you to coach because it's the same level as them, but but just a lot older.
Well, yeah.
Uh,
Well, that's great. I keep that if you can keep that up because you'll get there. You'll get there.
I
Um,
keep getting told that just got to spend more time in the pool. Like
yeah,
the more time you spend in the pool, the better you get at it. Because I do
yeah.
feel that even if I spend more time running, I don't actually get better at running. I don't necessarily get quicker. But swimming, the more time I spend in the pool, I
Yeah,
definitely get
yours.
quicker.
You've definitely got that level of what stage you're at. You've definitely got like a big improvement that could come.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Because but with the running, it's harder now. Because anyway, whatever. Um,
But the one thing I think that I learned after um, well, in fact, it was after a good few. It was when I first did T100, so it was 2 years ago now. And in the race briefing, the guy was like, "We don't care how you swim, just don't do backstroke because we think you're in trouble. You can
mhm.
doggy paddle your whole way around it if you want."
Yeah.
I was like, "Really? I've been training.
Mm.
Like, could I have been told that a couple of years ago? I would have just been doggy paddling all the way, right?"
Oh,
And
well,
and I think
yeah.
for like the super sprint to get people into it, where you don't have to worry about your level of swimming.
No.
I just have a particular goal. I just want to be able to get my swim time under a certain time
Mhm.
because at the moment it is just takes me too long. But
No.
I literally do like 25 meters of front crawl, then 50 meters of breaststroke, and that's my race.
Okay.
Because I can't do front crawl the whole way around. I'm just not that good.
No.
Um, but yeah, maybe a lot
Okay.
of people can connect with that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, have you tried a pull boy?
I, I have one. Um, I still don't really know
So so
how to use it.
let me so just so happens I've got a swim run one here. I mean
Yep.
they're all the same except swim runs ones are a bit bigger usually. This is a big arc one from Arc. They make a lot of swim run specific kit, and what it does, it's obviously between your legs, and that size of one means your legs are like that in the pool, horizontal, so streamlined. Um, it means because you're not kicking your legs, you're not wasting oxygen. Because most people, unless you're super elite, most people's leg kick isn't very efficient in terms of oxygen. The amount of oxygen it takes to power your legs, you don't get that much back from them in the swim. Whereas, so that means you can have all your oxygen for your arms, which it gives you a rest in terms of not getting out of breath. And because breathing is so tricky for when you're learning to swim and trying to get faster, not you can if you've got a pull buoy, sometimes I'm swimming with one of these and I don't breathe for about 8 strokes or something, if I'm cruising, because you're just not getting through the oxygen. It's power
Okay.
in your arm. So try it. Maybe try the one you've got, but uh, they need to be a little bit bigger to get your legs horizontal.
Okay. Yeah.
And
I've
then,
only got I would say it's small. It looks about half the size of that. So
these are massive. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. So with a swim run ones, they're
the
designed to be
yeah,
bigger
yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because you swim in your trainers, you're basically saying, forget about your legs. All you want your legs to do is stay straight and on the water, in effect. And then later on, once you've got into that, you can get a cheaper big one. I think Hoob do because you've got to get these from Sweden, and there's an import since we left the EU. There's an import tax. They are brilliant, but that's a factor, I suppose, financially. So yeah, get a bit biggest, and then look at the paddles further down the line if you want to, and certainly if you want to get into swim run. So you've got the kind of standard. Well, that's quite a big one actually. It's a stroke maker, American company, but Decathlon. I mean, they're about 10 quid, Decathlon. And because they're so small, they don't put a lot of stress on your shoulders. So it's...
So I got given one of our speakers at the show.
Dan Bullock.
Dan Bullock.
Do
you know about his Ocean?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I've not tried them,
I've got it here. He kind of gave me a set, and he was like, "Look, these are still prototype, like brand new. I think at the time they weren't even being sold properly." And he was like, "Can you use it?" And he gave it to me at T100. So that was like August, so 4 months ago. Since then, mate, I've actually done it. I don't know how, but something awful to my shoulder, and I've not swam properly since. And I feel really bad because I have some hand paddles, so the ones with the rubber bands on, go around all your fingers and your thumb. I have a set of them, but they're just a real faff to use. And he gave me these Ocean ones, and straight away I'm like, wow, that is so much better from a design point of view. So can you use that, or do they have to be?
No. You can use any paddles.
They can be any type of hand paddle.
Type of yeah. Basically, there's no rules on the paddles really. The biggest.
So when you're doing a swim run, then because I am super intrigued. I love all formats of multisport, and I need to do more of them. So when doing the swim run, do you keep the paddles with you and the buoy with you when you're doing the run? Yep.
Yeah. Good question. So you put a little bungee cord through the buoy, and there's a way. It's quite simple. It's hard to explain it really, but it's really. I'll show you at the show. But it just sits on your back like the back of a belt. Okay. It's dead simple. And then the paddles, you can either, some people run with them, it just as they are and run, or kind of put them up their arm a bit. Some people tuck them down. You have a race vest in swim run, and sometimes it's quite a tight vest, and you can just stick them down your vest. Or there's some people put them on a carabiner on a waist belt, which I don't like because they're flapping around a lot. But yeah, there's a few little tips and tricks I can show you. But yeah, you carry all your stuff, and then the bigger, so your basic plastic ones. This model TYR used to do a great one, TYR Catalyst, but I don't think they do that anymore. And then last kind of a beginner friendly, I guess, it's the Speedo one, and that's a nice one, easy to get hold of as well in the UK. Building up to, and I do say building up to, the carbon paddles. So that's an Evolvent. That's called a Carl's Crown.
Beautiful.
Yeah, these are pretty expensive, but they're really sexy.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah. I was enjoying that. Yeah, they look cool. So then you've got so if I did one, so where can I do a swim run? Firstly, let's start with that.
Well, or in the UK, the first one of the season in 2026 is Liverpool, the Eliminator.
Okay.
Yeah, very beginner friendly, and you will learn so much at that event. You'll learn a lot at every single event, but you've got the Eliminator Liverpool. You've got
when is that?
That's the 9th of May.
Okay.
Saturday, 9th of May.
So you still wear a wetsuit?
Yeah, you don't have to. So there is a lot of flexibility with kit choice. You don't have to take paddles. You don't have to take a pull buoy. I strongly recommend using a pull buoy and building up towards paddles in the future. Some people, depending on the temperature, wear tri-suits or just trunks or whatever. But most people, I'd say 95%, do wear wetsuits of some description, usually cut at the knee, quite often cut at the elbow. The specialist ones have front zips and some pockets as well. But you don't have to, you can just wear a cheap surf shorty, or you can really. There's a lot of flexibility, and you don't have to get the best wetsuit for sure.
No, sure.
At all. So that's that. And then there's down in Cornwall, Hokey Cokey, put on a few good challenging events as well. Obviously in the sea off the Cornish coast. You've got As Keen as Mustard. They're kind of Peterborough and Nene Valley, kind of south a little bit. You've got Gower Peninsula in Wales. You've got a Pembrokeshire one. They're all on. I've got a calendar on the website, and there's British Swimrun, which is we're kind of just an organisation of a few organisers and a couple of people interested in trying to grow the sport. We've got an event calendar and some rankings, and Lake District, so quite a few places. The Isles of Scilly, Jersey, a bit. You got your island options there. Aberdyfi in Wales. There's a few in Wales. There used to be some in Scotland. There aren't anymore. But so loads, but eliminated to get you started.
Yeah, okay. All right.
And so there's a bit of it's and I'll definitely obviously see you in March, but we can go through some kit there.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating, and am I right in saying though that even with some of those other locations, that it's not all exactly the same in terms of like configuration, right?
Absolutely. You never quite know what you're going to get. Usually, it's a good idea to look at the longest swim and the longest run. So, the longest run on a swim run race in the UK, I would say, is currently on Jersey, which is about a half. They've got a half marathon within a swim run event distance wise. I think it's a 53k swim run. The longest single swim section is probably about 2k. I think at the Wales swim run in Pembrokeshire, I think they've got a 2k. I know there used to be one in Cornwall that was 2k. I'm not sure that's happening this year. So but I'd say the average UK swim distance is probably 600 meters to 900 meters, those kind of ballparks. And then there's a few shorter and a few bit longer.
But that's total swim though, right?
Oh no, sorry.
That's leg. That's per leg.
Yeah.
Okay, per leg.
Yeah. Whereas the eliminator is different. It's a lap. It's like it's almost similar to Super Sprint, Super League Triathlon in some ways, because it's you do your first lap, and if you get it in a certain time, you go to the second lap and blah blah blah. The longest single swim on that is 300 meters.
Right.
So quite relatively easy to complete.
Yeah.
It's a great point. There's such a wide variety of distances across the world. Swim run.
Yeah.
The World Series, which is the Otelo original format, they tend to be 30 to 40 kilometers total. In the UK, I'd say the average distance of a swim run's about 15 to 25k, more like.
Yeah.
But most organisers have different distances for each event as well. Okay. You've got in a kind of a summary, you'd probably say a sprint is 12k ish, which sounds quite long, I suppose, but roughly. And then you'd have a half marathon type Olympic distance would be kind of a 20k swim run. Then a marathon or a World Series would be 30 plus, and then an ultra would be 50 plus. I mean, there's a few different terminologies across the world for distances, which is confusing for people, but yeah.
So what? I'm right in saying that it's now been included in the World Triathlon Championships. Is that
It's now.
correct?
It's been now. What are the words? It's been
Yeah,
voted in under the umbrella of the World Triathlon Federation. I think that's what they said.
that was it. Yes.
Yeah. Which we don't know what that means exactly, but we do know that the French Triathlon Federation have taken it under its umbrella, and that seems to have encouraged young people into the sport more. Because swimrun in Sweden, where it started, and then it kind of spread across Europe a little bit, and the UK. A lot of the athletes are kind of 35 to 50. And at the UK, I mean, if you look at the top performing athletes in races, particularly in World Series events, they're 45 plus.
Right.
They're 40. That end, and we haven't got loads in the 20 to 35 bracket in the UK, and
Okay.
Sweden, to be fair, haven't got loads. France have though, and I think that whole federation, they've put a bit of funding in. They're doing some training camps. So yeah, so we're waiting to see if British Triathlon and the other governing bodies across the globe, I guess, take swimrun under its umbrella a little bit more and develop the sport.
Yeah, great. I
Which
think it's a great format. It seems really interesting. The variety of it, even just in the UK ones, I thought all those ones you described there. I think that helps, and I think that's probably one of my favourite things about like the races in the UK is you don't have to go too far, like drive too far to get something completely different.
mm,
To where you might be where you are. Because like I can do a triathlon on the Thames right here.
yeah,
I can drive a few miles up the road, and there's one on a lake that's also on a mountain bike course.
yeah,
Then there's another one around the corner that's on a reservoir. So there's I think because of how we are in our waterways, in particular, any sport water related, it's the variety is so different all around the country within not too far
yeah,
apart.
yeah,
So I think there is, and then it comes down to like the run and the bike as well for any multi sport that you can get real simple beginner flat as you like, or you can get some super hilly ones,
yeah, yeah,
Cornwall, you know, Yorkshire in particular, really challenging rides and runs. And I love that about the sport in the UK. I think that's been really, really fascinating for me to experience. But I still try to choose as beginner friendly as possible because I'm not that I'm not that good at it yet. And I think
yeah,
more people need to know that there are beginner friendly more often
yeah,
than not. To be honest with you, right? I think most races in the UK multisport wise are beginner friendly, for sure.
yeah, yeah. I think so. And one I forgot to mention, the nearest one to you, swimrun, is Studland Swimrun, uh, Bournemouth way.
Okay,
Is it Bournemouth? I think it is that way anyway. Studland on the
okay.
yeah, and
Might
they've
be
got a
easy to
few.
get to the Peterborough one. To be honest with you, I think that's
Oh yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah,
there might be.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's an
And
easier drive.
there's another one that's Buell Water. I think that's down your way, isn't it? That's Kent. Buell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's in
Yeah, yeah,
June.
yeah, easy. Okay,
Yeah,
that's a bit
yeah,
more around the corner. You could
yeah,
swim it across the Thames to get there.
yeah. Don't, mate, don't.
No,
uh, cool. Okay. Well, that sounds amazing. What you've put on, what you're going to put on,
thank you,
and
mate. Well,
and
it's
yeah,
great to have you on board as well. And I think what I'm excited for, and again, a big part of the show is to educate people on what is out there and what multi-sport is. So the more representation we can have from race organizers of different types of multi-sport events, the better. And you never know, you might just be that one little spark that intrigues somebody enough to go, you know what, yeah, this is exactly what I need from a race. They're not interested in the bike or the other race formats. Great,
Yeah.
give swimrun a try.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. Cool. Well, good man. And I will look forward to the releases of the guys going to be down at the show coming up before Christmas. You said.
Yeah, there's so much
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
announcing over the
Okay.
next few weeks. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's
Cool.
exciting
Cool.
time.
And to get tickets, it's just World of Triathlon. Google it, and it'll come up. And I'll put the link in the show
Yeah,
notes. Yeah.
worldtriathlonlive.com.
Right.
There's tickets on there. The early bird currently is £5. That'll be
Oh.
running until probably mid-January. Then it goes up to £10. But if you're a member of a triathlon club, you can get free tickets through them. And some of our partners will also be providing and promoting free tickets. There'll be limited number, but
Mm-hmm.
there will be some available. The idea is about half the visitor numbers to be free, because we're expecting 10,000 people to it across 2 days, and we've already sold 4,000 tickets. So a huge thank you to anybody that's bought a ticket so far. That's massive. Vote of reassurance
Yeah.
for a new business already. So very excited for that.
That's brilliant. Nearly half full. And I reckon end of Jan, you'll be nearly full, I'd say. So get those tickets
Yeah,
in,
I think
guys. Yeah. Yeah.
we'll be up to 10,000 by then. We're confident we'll hit 5,000 by Christmas.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Okay. Well, thanks for your time, Stuart. And
Thank you so much for having me, Mike. I really appreciate it. It's great chatting to you as always.
thank you. And speak soon, no doubt.
Cheers, buddy.